So I'm just gonna basically explain what happened yesterday, and obviously go into detail about the whole Landon and alleging that Nina is sleeping with the bosses of NowThatsTV and include the receipts. So just a quick backstory: Landon had come out about his sexual assault with who basically the person that sexually assaulted him was Zoe Dupree, allegedly. I'm just gonna say I don't want the video to get taken down. And he basically was explaining the situation. Nina then made a statement on Facebook and was in a sense victim blaming and saying, oh, if you are an advocate for the youth, why don't you basically speak up, and why didn't you go to the police, and why didn't you do all this other stuff? Obviously people that are victims of SA and just general assault as well, it's within their own time, it's the victim's right as well, if they want to go forward as well, and if they are willing to as well. Obviously we know the stats as well, a lot of times when victims of sexual assault do go forward, a lot of times then they never get any justice with the justice system or the courts itself. So she made that statement. Then Landon basically responded, and I'm just gonna insert all the text messages as well. I tried to blur out some of the words so it doesn't get taken down. Okay, so it first started with this message here, and he screenshotted it, and Nina said, so what happened? Then he said they didn't send it yet, question mark. I thought Liddy talked to them for you. And she then replied, who she is Nina, basically said, who told Becca anything about me? Then he responded, what do you mean? He sent an image. Obviously we can't see the image what he sent. Then it's he said, I don't really talk to Becca like that. What do you mean about you? What she do? And then she basically, sorry, responded and said, only talk to you, Liddy, for real. Cash, I think that's what it says. And then she said, and Sway just called me. And then he responded and said, I don't talk to Becca, Nina. I don't know her like that. Then the next part here is basically a message again. And he said, I don't talk to her like that. Then she just said, Sway called me, like Becca said, me and her are fighting on Monday. And I was gonna expose him on if I don't get money, all that type shit. When I only vented to you and Liddy, so I'm confused why he's calling me. And then she said, then Landon said back to her, I don't talk to Becca. You was talking to me and Liddy, but all the extra stuff I don't know none about. I don't even have Becca's number. I showed you me and her most recent message. You can call Sway. You can have Sway call me. He said, I don't give a shit to do with this. Basically, he's packing out of Houston, I think that says. Just for clarity here as well, basically what he was saying on his, there's another video as well I'll also include. But what he was saying in this as well, like when he did, I think when Nina went live, which is a whole nother thing, was that apparently Nina basically said that, oh, if she doesn't get her money for a chaotic court, which she did last year, I don't know when it was exactly, but her video went viral where she took off her top and was fighting basically half naked. She basically said that she was going to expose Teleau and Kilo Sway for trying to have sex with her, even though she had a partner and stuff. And obviously this is something that they tend to do as well, but she was blackmailing them or saying that she's going to blackmail them if she doesn't get her money. Then Landon made this statement and said, for Nina to speak on my essay unprovoked when it had nothing to do with her is weird, and would be weird to release the phone call I recorded when she was calling me to threaten to expose some information she had on my boss, question mark. Do you want Sway to hear what you had to say? And I call Liddy and have her vouch she also was a part of the call. Obviously, I don't know the law in the US in regards to, like, I know there's some states that allow the one-sided call recording and stuff like that though, so obviously it is illegal from my understanding if the state isn't abiding by that one consent party thing for recording calls and stuff. Then this is the other part that I had to blur out as well because there was a lot of nasty words being said. She said, I love you, didn't mean any harm, I didn't say anything wrong, but if you took it that way, I do apologize. I do feel it happened. I do feel if it happened, which is very weird to say, you should have spoke out to save other victims. All I was saying, you're somebody, you lead, they follow, sorry. So it would have made everybody come out. Then he said, response back, since you want to speak on me, I'm gonna speak on you. Actually, you go speak on yourself, because that day you called me ready to expose where I recorded it. And then he said, BITCH, speak on yourself. And he said, mind your motherfucking business, basically, BITCH. Then he said, lion ass, BITCH, you just mad that you thrown basically PUSSY and it ain't work, alluding to basically she was trying to sleep with or had slept with or allegedly slept with the bosses of NowThatsTV. And because of that, she wasn't casted, because obviously he was saying in other posts as well, there was just a lot that he was posting as well. I'm going to post the video actually right now. And what I will do, sorry, is do a separate post for that video, because if not, because he's swearing and stuff, whatever, the video may get taken down. So I'll make another post after this.